Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bergen Stages Television. I'm Jim Bumgardner, your host. Thank you for being here for our entertainment magazine here at Bergen Community College. Currently, Bergen Stages is producing the William Gibson play, The Miracle Worker, the story of Annie Sullivan and Helen Keller. And what better way to give you a behind-the-scenes view of what's happening with our rehearsal process and getting ready for opening night than to have two stars of that production. So I'd like to welcome to our show, Sophia Lee and Katelyn Bailey. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Good.
Good. So just before we get to talking about Miracle Worker and all the great work that you're doing in the show right now, we kind of want to let our audience know a little bit about you, about who you are, how you got here, and why we're so lucky to have you on the show today. So Sophia, where did you come from? How did you get here?
I was born in Korea, and then I moved to Australia when I was in 3rd grade, and then I moved back to Korea when I was a sophomore in high school, and then I came back to New York when I was a freshman in college.
And how long were you in Australia?
More than like half my life.
Half your life.
Yeah,
that's incredible. Yeah. Oh, cool. That's cool. And did you do performance before you got to the U.S. or was
in Australia, it's required as a class for everyone to take drama. So ever since I was in 3rd grade, I've been taking drama as a class.
Okay. So we'll come back and talk a little bit more about what you did. Katelyn, our youngest member of our stage in a long time. Welcome. So where are you from?
Well, I was born in Lodi, New Jersey.
Beautiful Lodi.
Yes. Well, I used to go to Assumption, but then the school closed, so now I go to St. Anne's in Fairlawn. And my mother, she goes to the school, and that's how I heard about the Miracle Worker. So then I started to look her up. And
great. Have you done performances when you were in school? I know that live stage, and we'll get to the other stuff that you do, but I know live stage is kind of a new thing for you.
Yes, it is. I've been doing TV work, actually. I've been on commercials, episodes. Yeah.
Great. So so there's not been any plays that you've done in school itself?
No, this is actually my first play I've been in
Unbelievable
this year.
To play Helen Keller,
Yeah.
a huge role like this, and it be your first on stage there. So, wow, commercials and television episodes, and you do some internet stuff too? Was there something that you've been doing online kind of things there? How'd you get involved in commercial work, I guess is the question.
Well, when I was younger, I used to watch Disney movies, and I used to pretend I was the character and dress up like them.
Pretend.
And then when I became to the age 6, I told my mom and dad I wanted to be an actress. So.
And they believed you?
Yes, they did.
And so I know getting commercials you can't do without an agent,
Yeah.
right? So you went in and, do you have an agent in Jersey or in the city?
I have one in the city.
Oh, cool. And that agent set you up for commercial work?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Don't we all want one, Sophia? So what other things have you done? Tell me about what you did before you got here, some of the shows.
I was in The Elephant Man.
Awesome. Which role?
I was the porter.
Okay.
And then I was in 12th Night. And then I was also in Haiku. And the last one I was in high school was The Little Prince.
Oh, I love that story. Yeah. Oh, wonderful. And you said this was a requirement for school. Everybody had to. Why do you think they would do something like that?
Well, in Australia, I don't know. I think they want everybody to try everything out, like drama, art, and they don't want to limit anybody to anything.
So you did sports as well, so you got a little bit of everything. It didn't. So it was in the sciences and all that kind of stuff. So you got
sports was intense in Australia.
Was intense. So everybody got. So you got a good feeling of everything, much more well-rounded. We need to do that here.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the arts in school don't happen enough. So now that you're here, now you're a theater major here. What are your plans? What are you thinking about doing?
I'm hoping to go to NYU after I graduate here.
To
Tisch.
Great.
And then hopefully become a theater teacher in the long run.
Nice. And what grade do you want to teach?
Well, I want to teach younger kids.
How young?
Maybe middle school.
Great. So you're kind of bringing back what happened in Australia. Let's do what we did. We know how important it is and how great it is.
Yeah.
Good. Well, hopefully we will keep funding happening for schools. So are you thinking private school or go to public school?
I don't mind. I just want kids to know that because I feel like drama helps you build confidence. And it really helped me when I was a kid. So I think it's a really important subject in school.
Get you up in front of people and not being shy. Kind of breaks you out of the shell and all that sort of stuff there. Great. Oh, that's a great ambition.
Yeah.
And do you want to stay in the area, or do you want to? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Just as long as you're teaching theater somewhere to that age group. So that sounds like middle school. At middle school age there. Now we know that you're a star already in commercials. So what do you want to do when so you're, what grade are you now?
8th grade.
8th grade. So
Yes.
you're just the beginning of high school, or you're just getting ready for high school?
I'm getting ready for
I
high
always
school.
get transition. Wow. And where will you go to high school?
PCTI.
Oh, cool. Great.
Yes.
Good, good. And so in high school, they'll have plays there. So I know that
Yes.
you'll get involved in theater there and probably continue to do commercials as
Yeah.
well. So what do you want to be when you grow up, Katelyn?
Well, I was thinking maybe I want to study being a lawyer. And yeah. So like if my acting career doesn't like, work out as I planned, I want to be like a lawyer.
So plan B is to be a lawyer,
Yes.
which is pretty much a lot of performance. In being a
Yeah.
lawyer. You think like a get up in court kind of lawyer?
Yes.
You've been watching a lot of TV.
Yes.
Well, Law and Order episodes there. But they're performing. They have
Yeah.
to memorize lines. They have to do the same things in acting. And they have to be convincing as a lawyer. Yeah. What a great ambition. So you think you'll study law you think that's what you'll go do, or do you think you'll go keep trying this acting thing?
I'll keep trying to do acting, yes.
Great, great. And now that you've experienced on stage and commercial work and all that, which do you have an area you're liking better?
Well, I'm liking stage better.
Uh-huh. Why is that? That's a great
Because
the
like,
answer I wanted to hear, but
well, TV is like mostly different because if you mess up, you do another take. But then if you mess up, you just keep going with it.
Yeah.
And like people won't actually notice, So I like that about theater.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
And you feel right then the connection
Yeah.
and it all happening as opposed to going to the craft table, getting something
Yeah.
else and coming back up and shooting again. It's a different world. Do you think of doing movies too? Would you think you would do film? I know you
yes.
like TV because
Yeah.
that's what gave you your inspiration. So.
Yes, I do.
A Disney film? maybe?
Yeah.
Do you sing too? Are you a
Yes,
singer?
I do.
Oh, good, 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 good. So if you taught kids, where would you begin? How would you? What is the beginning steps that a teacher would teach a young 6th grader to come out of their shell?
I think improv.
Good. And what is that? Because I know our audience has heard that word a lot of times, but a lot of times when we think improv comedy.
Yeah.
But what do you mean by improv?
Just getting up there and picking a scene and pretending like you're someone else.
Almost
Yeah.
like what you did,
Mm-hmm.
becoming other characters in your TV show and your imagination there.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So now you're here at Bergen Community College. You're a theater major. What does being a theater major here entail? What do you have to?
Acting classes, basic acting, and all the
Which is the improv thing.
stagecraft and lighting. And
What's that?
you learn how to set up lights, learn about the backstage, about the fly space, the stage, everything that comes behind.
Which is going to
the
be great for you being a teacher, knowing all these kind of things, because probably you're not going to have a whole crew help you with all that, so you're going to have to build it all yourself. Good. What else do you take?
I'm taking TPW right now
Well, I've
with you.
heard of that class. And what is TPW?
Theater
It's kind of
production.
our graduate level class. So what do we do in this class?
It's theater production workshop, and we build our own company, and we pick a play, and then we showcase the play, and we do everything like lights, costume, all our own.
So our idea of this class is to make you your own little off-Broadway theater company, and you guys do all the work. You build it, you make it happen, you rehearse it, you direct it, and make it all happen, which we find a lot of people graduating from college, that's what they're going to do. So it's like, let's give you the experience here in this environment so that you'd be ready to do that. Good. And of course, we're doing the dining room coming up in May for that sort of thing. So now we're in this a show called The Miracle Worker. What two better characters to play than Annie Sullivan and Helen Keller? How did your mom told you about these auditions?
Yes, she did.
So she saw the audition flyer going around and
Yeah.
said, you're perfect for this. Was it Helen that you wanted, or did you say, I just want to be part of this show?
Well, I wanted to be a part of the show, because it's like my first time, I wanted to try it out before, I picked something.
Did you know about her? Did you know anything about Helen Keller before you came to the audition?
Well,
Huh?
you know the song, I don't know, it says, shush girl, shush your lips, do the Helen Keller and talk with your hips.
Oh, yes.
So I heard
so you knew
about
she talked
her.
with her hands.
Yeah.
Whose song is that? What is that? I remember the song.
303,
something
something like that.
Yeah.
So you knew talking with your hands, okay.
Yeah. And then
That's too funny.
my mom, she told me about it, so I started looking her up, and then I watched the movie Helen Keller, and then I started doing my research on her, and then I went to the audition.
Research?
Yes.
What is research? That's amazing. What do you mean by research?
Well,
Actors do research? That's great. What would you do? How did you do research? What did you?
Well, First, I watched the movie, and then
The old one with Anne Bancroft and Patty
no,
Duke?
because the YouTube didn't.
The color one.
Yes,
The one in color,
YouTube
okay, great.
didn't let me watch it.
Okay.
So I watched the Disney one, and then I typed up her name in Google, and so many things popped up. I was like, oh my gosh, she's a brilliant woman. She knows how to use her hands and everything.
And started so late in life learning.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And so research. How did you hear about this audition?
Well, there was posters everywhere, and Mary was doing the show, and
Mary
she handed
Clifford is
out,
directing the show. Great.
handed out monologue pieces for the audition. I was like, oh, I want to be Annie Sullivan.
And once you got Annie Sullivan, so did you know you wanted to do Annie, or you just wanted to be involved in the show? So you knew who you wanted to play in this particular show, and so at the audition you read for, well, Helen doesn't do a whole lot of reading. She's got, what, one line in the show.
Yeah.
And we'll get into some of the stuff that you're doing in rehearsal right now. So Annie Sullivan is really kind of the driving force of this show. It's almost William Gibson, I think, took a lot of her memoirs and wrote this play around it. So did you do some research as well?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to know who Annie Sullivan was, and I found out that she was the teacher and the miracle worker. And I was really interested in how she got Helen to actually start speaking through sign language when she couldn't even hear or talk or anything. And I really liked that about her.
And language is such an important part of this
Yeah.
particular show. I mean, that's what she says at the beginning. Language is where I've got to start. This is the only way people communicate with each other. So a little bit about Annie Sullivan. What was her background like? You know, how did she get to the Kellers?
Well, she was an orphan at the asylum, and she was actually deaf herself. But then she got her hearing back, and then
And she was blind too?
Oh,
she
yeah.
was blind, yeah.
She was blind. And then she can see again, and then she wanted to help other people. So Mr. Agnagno said, you should go to the Keller house. And she gets there, and she sees Helen, and she's like, ugh, what am I going to do?
And she was very young.
She was
Thinking
only
about you
in her
wanting to
20s.
work with students. You'll be very young yourself when you get put out there in front of students. So you were very young. She was very young. You're very young too, Sophia. But she was such a young person to get involved in this. And what was Helen doing before? How did Helen? She wasn't born deaf, blind.
She got scarlet fever, and that's how she became deaf and blind.
Which was a big disease at
Yes,
that
it was.
Because this is set in the 1880s, if I remember right, 1882 to 87, I think, in the 1800s. And they're in Alabama.
Yes.
So I love some of this. Dustin Charles has been working with dialects and just hearing a lot of the southern dialects. So she's got scarlet fever when she was like young, like 18 months, 2 years?
Yes.
Right in that time, and from then on. And then why wasn't she learning? What was going on? Why was her...
Because her parents started putting pity on her, and like, you know, they allowed her to do whatever she wanted. So.
And treating her more like a pet.
Yes.
And maybe an out-of-control pet, but just kind of knowing I've got to be able to take care of this person. And it's interesting, I think the character Annie at many times sees them feeding her candy and things just to kind of calm her down, kind of treating her for the bad things she's doing. Yeah.
And she eats off everyone's plates during like dinners. She was appalled by it.
Annie was totally
Annie
appalled
was
by
appalled.
it. So we're in a great part of the rehearsal process. We've done starting run-throughs and learning all that. So we're going to take a very short break, and we're going to come back and then kind of talk about where we are in this rehearsal process, what you're doing as an actor to prepare for this opening night. So we're going to take a quick little break right now. Please come back. We have Sophia Lee and Katelyn Bailey here talking about The Miracle Worker. Come right back.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
Mira aquí, mira a tu mami.
Quizás le molesta tanta luz.
Quizás está aburrido.
Quizás no puede escucharnos.
Quizás necesita más estímulo. Quizás está pasando por una etapa.
Evadir la mirada es una de las primeras señales de autismo. Conoce las demás señales hoy. Mientras más pronto se diagnostique, mejor.
From intimate black box performances in the Ender Hall Lab Theater to full-scale musical productions in the Anna Maria Saccone Theater, come to Bergen Community College at 400 Paramus Road in Paramus, New Jersey. For tickets or more information, call the box office at 201-447-7428 or visit us at tickets.bergen.edu. We'll be seeing you on Bergen Stages.
Hi, welcome back to Bergen Stages Television. I'm Jim Bumgardner, your host. Today we're talking about The Miracle Worker with two wonderful guests, our stars of the show, Sophia Lee and Katelyn Bailey, who play Annie Sullivan and Helen Keller, respectively. So, ladies, we've been talking about getting prepared for the role, your auditioning process that you've done. So now we're in the rehearsals. What have you been doing in rehearsals? How has it been?
Fighting a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. There's a lot of what's called stage combat. So, Katelyn, talk about what does that mean? What is, it's not just kind of improv up there. You actually, what are you doing up there? And it's like 10 minutes long.
Yes.
So what happens? Tell us one of the scenes, one of those.
Well, the fighting scene. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the lights, it like makes you sweat a lot. So like the punches, the slaps, it's like.
Why is Helen even doing that? What's Helen up about? Why is she having this tantrum?
Because I want food from Annie's plate, but she won't let me get food from her plate.
Because we talked about before the
Yes.
break the fact that she just does whatever she wants to do and they let her go. So she tries to do it and she goes into a tantrum.
Yes.
And what does Annie do?
I lock her. Annie locks her in the room.
Kicks the parents out.
Kicks the parents
out of the dining room, locks her in and said, all right.
It's on.
It's on, baby. And she's never done this before. That's what's so amazing about her is this improvised teaching. She's like going, I've got to figure out how to make this work. So then what happens? You lock the doors.
She locks the doors, clears all the plates, and makes sure Helen eats from her own plate. She runs away so many times. But she keeps insisting she has to eat on her own plate. And sooner or later she does. But then she tries to eat on her own plate with a spoon. And that she throws the spoon back so many times. She's trying to grab the spoon in her hand. She's throwing it. We're fighting. And then later on, she does get it in her mouth.
And how was it like rehearsing this sort of thing? What did you do to get prepped for this?
Oh my gosh.
How did Mary get you going? What did you do? Like, go and just see what happens? What did Mary do? How did she?
Well, we had to put on like knee pads and all of those.
Protective gear.
Yes. The first time we did it, I didn't have a protective gear here. So when I went to the door, she picks me up, and it started to hurt because like it was like really tight. And I told her, she's like, okay, we're gonna get you something for over there. So we did, and then we did it, and it was fine. And then
each step of the way.
We took 3 rehearsals.
Three rehearsals
Three
just
rehearsals.
to do this scene carefully. And I think that's something about people don't realize about stage combat is that you need to do it carefully and slowly. And that's kind of what you did, Sophia, because it was like take a minute, take 30 seconds, do that again and again. There's times you crawl over the table, you crawl under the table, you're tossing down chairs and all that kind of stuff. She's a brat. I mean, she really is a wild. Well, she's a wild. She's been treated like an animal. She's became a wild animal and this sort of thing. So, so it's a tough thing to do.
Yes.
Also, you don't get to talk in this play.
No.
But you still are very aware of everybody else, so that you know when to. Because there's times you have to react to something. Whether it's even in your own world, but it has to happen on a line that the other actors.
Yes, it does.
So it's almost like you have to memorize everybody's.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, am I right?
Yes.
I watched the full run-through last night and just saw that. Said, everybody, oh, she doesn't have any lines to learn, so she's got the easy part, but that's not true.
No.
Yeah. What's been the challenge? What has been part of the challenge of doing it?
The challenge is to not focus on the ground.
Because?
Yes, because I'm blind.
You're blind. So how do you prepare for that? What do you do?
Well, I blindfold myself, at home, and I walk around the house, and sometimes I bump into things, and I'm like, okay.
Which would be right,
Yeah.
because Helen would do that. Somebody might move a chair in the wrong place, and that, you know, she's not used to that.
And so, like, I did a day without speaking to my brother and sister, and they're like, what are you saying? And then I had to type it in on the phone, and I was like, I can't talk. I'm practicing.
So that would be almost like signing.
Yes.
You're doing a typing, and that would be the only way to
Yeah.
communicate. And how slow that is.
Yeah.
You know, for her in the beginning, how slow that had to be. Oh, what an interesting thing. And so on your own, as you're part of your research almost, is that you do your homework by,
Yes, I do.
by blindfolding yourself, and wow. And the reaction is good? You feel like it's been a helpful thing?
Yes, it is.
Great. And what's prepped you for Annie's role here?
I've just been memorizing my lines, and sign language is the hardest thing.
Yeah?
Because I didn't know sign until the show started. And I'm taking sign right now, but before then I had no idea.
Awesome.
So to sign to her fast was really difficult, memorizing what letter means what.
And so it's just signing the alphabet, A,
Yeah.
B, C, D. Okay, good. I'm remembering a little bit. So can we take a moment? There's a moment in the play that you do a little signing with each other. Can we just kind of, we're going to show you a little bit. We don't have the props that you're going to be using here, but imagine that Annie's got a bowl of water, and also she's holding an egg here. And so this scene is when you're trying to teach her to spell. Well, you're teaching her language. So let's just kind of, can we improv like you're handing her the bowl, putting the bowl in her lap or whatever you do there? Go ahead.
Water, Helen. This is water. It has a name. W-A-T-E-R. It has a name. Egg. E-G-G. It has a name. Oh, it's so simple. Simple as birth to explain. Helen, the chick has to come out of his shell sometime. You come out too.
Great. And that's just a little bit of what you have. And you finally do, well, I don't want to give away anything, but you constantly, I mean, the whole training with her is just relentlessly not giving up, spelling things into her hand to see if she can connect what? What do
to the world.
And the words to the item.
To the item, yeah.
And we think, is it important that we know, gosh, a rose by any other name is still a rose, to try to figure out in her mind to make her make that connection. And that's, I think, Annie's struggle. But I think what I love is this is part of, we're heading into Women's History Month in March. And what two better women to celebrate than these women? As you said, Helen went on to do some really remarkable things, and so did Annie, including these memoirs and books and graduating. And so these are two incredible women, but you're showing us the very beginning of what they went through to become who they later do. So in the rehearsal process, you've done some stage combat. Yes. Ooh, a lot of stage combat. You've learned sign language. Now we're beginning, we've got, we're heading for our opening night. So what are we going to do in the next couple of weeks? I know that you've been getting rehearsal costumes. So Marie Natali is our costume designer. Yes. So she's been giving you rehearsal costumes. Why does she give you rehearsal and obviously padding? So why would an actress want to be in a rehearsal costume?
Because we're in long skirts and we have to practice moving and sitting in long skirts. And bustles.
And bustles, and keeping you sitting correctly and all that kind of stuff too. Yeah, it's a different feeling than hanging out in your jeans and walking around. So she's giving you, so in the rehearsal you've been already fed into that sort of thing. You've the play is blocked.
Yes.
Meaning Mary has given you everything where you're moving and all that sort of thing on the stage at this point. So now what are you going to do before opening? How are we heading? What's going to happen now? You're new at this, so what do you think is going to happen now? What do you think where you're heading?
Wow.
Fill her in. Let her know what's going to happen.
Rehearsal, dress rehearsal, running it.
So yeah, I think it's the repetition now. I think you're at a place that it will be repeated, but you'll get into technical rehearsals, which some theaters call fondly Hell Week, but it's not. Not here. No, we don't. But it's now we're adding all the elements. It's an interesting set, this unit set, but it kind of almost is shown from Helen's world, where the only things we see are the things that she feels and touches, which are chairs and doors. The other things aren't important because they aren't in her world.
No.
I don't know if that came to you, but I just watching it last night. That's interesting. The designer, Dwayne McDivitt, who designed it, kind of made it what Helen new as opposed to all the other stuff that an audience is used to. So the set is up. We're getting props. What are props? There's a lot of props in the show. What do I mean by props? You get a lot of them. What are some of the props you get?
The key.
The key.
The doll. The card. The
sewing
card.
card.
Yeah. The egg, I would kind of say.
Yeah.
The water. The pump. The food.
All that food. The food that goes everywhere. And
Yeah.
there's 3 meals I think you have in this show.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot of food on that stage there. So props, right? And what else do you have? I know you
And
unpack.
a dog.
A dog.
yeah.
We have a dog.
And the
Is he a
candy.
proper character? Right? Candy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things. So Dan Conrad's gathering all these things, all these dishes, all these things, which makes it the world more real for our audience and also for yourself. So, and you begin working with those things. You have some rehearsal things. In the beginning, you mime, just kind of like what you did for our other scene here. But it's great to have the real thing because it just suddenly makes your character more real as well there. So you add that in there, and then we have costumes. Then you'll have the actual costumes on, getting ready for opening night. So thinking about these women and where we're heading for opening night. Who's coming to see the show? What do you want? What do you want the audience to walk away learning from seeing our production of The Miracle Worker?
That nothing is impossible.
Good.
I want them to know Helen and what kind of journey she went through with Annie Sullivan and all the struggles that they went through together.
And Helen also realizes that Annie is there to help her. And these, I think it really is about the teaching and about the importance of being a teacher and thinking outside just the norm, the book learning. There's Annie is the teacher of all teachers, I think. She helps us learn that there's got to be a different way. Don't always think there's only one way to do it. If you're not reaching, try something else. And she doesn't give up. And I think we learn that from her as a part of Women's History Month. So now we're like I said, we're putting it all together. We're getting our lights, our sound. There's sound effects. There's bells ringing. There's horse hoofs and all that kind of stuff there. And then we have a great opening night. The show is opening soon. We're in our small theater. We're in the Interhall Lab Theater, which is a very small venue. It only seats 96 people, so we know the show is going to sell out. We also will have 2 of our performances will be sign interpreted, meaning we will have 2 people in the audience or out in front of the audience sign interpreting this show, so that those that are hearing impaired or are learning about sign language can watch the show and enjoy it just as much as someone that could hear the show can enjoy the show. So 2 of those performances there. How does it feel being in this little Interhall Lab?
It's kind of weird.
Because you performed in the Saccone and you performed in the lab, so you've done both theaters. Which one do you?
I feel like Hall is more intimate, and you can really relate with the characters more because they're closer to you, more other than Saccone, which is huge.
And the audience is so far away.
So far
I
away.
mean, they're going to be right in your lap. I mean, that front row, you're
You can
almost
see
walking
everything,
on.
every sweat, every tear.
They see everything going on, which is great. It's almost like film. It is so right, because you've worked in film, and you're looking at that very short image there. So it'll be a great experience to have these people right there breathing down your neck, so to speak. So the show will open on February 27th. It has 7 performances. It will be running, like I said, in the Interhall Lab Theater. There are matinees on Saturday at 2 o'clock, which would be the 28th, and I think it's March 7th. If you look on your screen, there is a poster that tells you and gives you the information. Also, the phone number is up on the screen where you can get tickets, or at tickets.bergen.edu. It's sure to be a sellout, so please get your tickets early so that you have a seat seeing this wonderful production. Sophia, Katelyn, I cannot thank you enough for being a part of the show today. Break a leg with opening night.
Thank you.
And thank you for being a part of the show today. And thank you guys for tuning in, and please watch a new episode coming up of Bergen Stages Television. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care. Hi, I just want to take a moment to say thank you Bergen Stages Television is beginning its 5th season, 4 years on the air, and I want to thank you, our viewers, for tuning in and watching us. And I also want to thank our full staff that puts this together, Marianne, our producer, and the entire crew that makes this happen for 4 years. So keep tuning in and keep watching Bergen Stages Television. Thanks.